Hello everyone, thank you for joining me here this afternoon. We are live. We have a moderate risk level 4 out of 5 of severe weather for portions of Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. So we are going to be live here for as long as possible covering severe weather. I do want to start off by letting you all know we have a new mesoscale discussion for a tornado watch likely 95% chance of being issued. So that is most certainly going to be issued. We also, you can see on the right side of your screen, we already have a tornado watch in effect for portions of Iowa, South Dakota, and Minnesota. That one comes with peak intensity likely around 120 to 150 miles per hour. This one says 140 to 170. So strong tornadoes, EF2 plus, will be likely in this area. You can see greatest strong EF2 plus tornado potential falls in, looks like the website had a little glitch there, I think, but you can see that is for southern Minnesota and northern Iowa, where we have the potential for discrete cells, which we talked about last night in our forecast, which came out around 1 a.m., very late. Also, 3.5-inch hail is possible in some damaging winds. So we will see a tornado watch likely issued in the next hour for this area. I do want to move over to our radar to first of all let's get our severe risk off. We can take a look at that in a second. We did briefly have a radar indicated tornado warning. Now we are just down to 4 severe thunderstorm warnings. One of those is considerable for lime-sized hail near, I believe this is in Minnesota. Yes, this is in Minnesota near Storden and Westbrook. So be sure you are seeking shelter away from windows, because that will damage windows and windshields. So consider pulling off of roadways. The heaviest hail is currently near Highway 71, and that is moving. Give it a second. Oh, we do not want 75 frames. We'll go with 14 for now. Looks like it still thinks we're on 75. Okay. So that is moving north-northeast at moving northeast at 130 miles per hour. Look at that. That is crazy. 130 miles per hour. Those storms are moving so quickly. Thank you all for 6 likes already. I know we did schedule this stream. I don't know if any of you are here right now, but hello Cody and hello William. I think those messages were sent before we did start our stream. I think we're getting some feedback keyboard noises on the microphone, so I'm going to try to reduce those. But be sure you are moving away from windows. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds near Hartley, Iowa. Let's check briefly. That's either heavy rain and small hail being picked up, or we might have some rotation here near Hartley, Iowa. We're going to keep an eye on that very closely. This one is ping pong ball sized hail near Worthington, Minnesota. Got some storm chasers on this one. So there is our tornado watch likely mesoscale discussion, which we did talk about earlier. So if you are just tuning in, we are currently tracking a moderate risk of severe weather. Going to go ahead, sorry if I'm quiet for a second, I'm going to share this on the community tab to get the word out as much as possible. Alright, I just made a post about that, so hopefully we get some more people tuning in. But once again, a tornado watch, which you can see in the yellow box on Radar Omega, or on the right in the red boxes in the little image, that's in effect until 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time. I think this is near where we had our tornado warning. Maybe not. Hello, severe weather. Thanks for joining the stream. Why am I going live so early? Well, we may have 2 streams today, but we did briefly have a tornado warning, and then we have this severe thunderstorm warning. So we're just live to cover that, because not many other people are live, so we might as well be here. For anybody in here right now, if you would like to share the stream, or even subscribe or like, that helps spread it to more people. And if you would like to help fund us for things like weather tools such as Radar Omega, Radar Scope, and more, there is a PayPal linked in the pin message. Completely optional though, but greatly appreciated. I will check that every once in a while just to see if we did get any donations, and we will thank you. We'll probably even start a donation board, put that in the top left of the screen. So yeah. There's also a severe thunderstorm warning in Wisconsin to the west of Marshfield for 1-inch quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Hello, William Span. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you are doing well. If anyone does have any questions for their specific location, you can ask in chat. You can put a zip code, state, area of a state, city, county. Just make sure you include the state that that county is in, and we will take a look at it. But I think our main concern right now is this lime-sized hail near Windham in Minnesota, southern Minnesota. So we are going live a bit early. The most intense storms will probably be 2 or 3 hours from now, maybe even later, 3 or 4 hours. But we're just going to be here a bit early and track these. If there is nothing going on at one point during this stream, then we can stop the stream and come back later. I think it's only a matter of a very short time before things get dicey. Yeah, it happens really quickly. We go from 0 to 100 really quickly. All the warnings come in at once, and then everything gets chaotic. So, the calm before the storm right now. Berks County, PA, got an enhanced risk tomorrow in western Pennsylvania. Berks. I'm going to try to type slow so the microphone doesn't pick up noises. Okay, so that's near Sinking Spring, Pennsylvania. If we pull up tomorrow's risk, you are just outside of that general thunderstorm risk, so you shouldn't see anything too severe. But for the people in that enhanced risk, there is a 2% tornado risk tomorrow for some brief spin-up tornadoes possible. And then the main threat tomorrow is a wind risk. We have a 30% wind risk, not hatched right now. So we may see some damaging winds with those storms. And then there is also a 15% hail risk. You may see some rain tomorrow though, but nothing in terms of severe weather. Just waiting for this tornado watch. A 95% tornado watch likely is pretty crazy. Have there been any discrete forms forming ahead of the lines? Well, the HRRR has been picking up on quite a few here in northern Iowa, but you can see how some of those storms are sort of coming together. Our main storms are going to be a couple hours later from now. But this same area in northwest Iowa was where I was pulling soundings for PDS tornadoes. Very high 3 Cape in that area. So we are going to keep an eye on that. It looks like they did get rid of the portion of the tornado watch that included just south of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. No problem, severe weather. So right now, on the right side of your screen, bottom right, you can see that tornado watch. That's not going to be our main tornado watch. You saw Ryan Hall live notification but haven't watched it. Yeah, I got a notification he went live as well. Right now only the big names are going live, but we'll just be here for as long as I can and as long as we are needed. Another big concern today is going to be damaging large hail and damaging winds, but obviously we are focused on that tornado threat. But while things are calm in the target area, we should check on these special weather statements in Nebraska, not too far from yesterday where we saw our crazy tornadoes. So this one near Dalton and Oshkosh is for another 16 minutes for 55-mile-per-hour gusts, and this one near Valentine is for wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. So gusty showers, rain showers with some wind. These storms will have the potential to produce tornadoes, but not nearly as much as our storms that form later, because these are sort of all in a line, so they have to share that environment with each other. I don't know how we're already at 7 likes this stream. Thank you all so much for the support. I'm glad that our Radar Omega on my computer isn't lagging today, because sometimes it makes the stream freeze, and then I have to screen mirror my iPad, and that doesn't look the best as if we just use it on the computer. Radar Omega is much easier to operate on the computer. We should go to the SPC and see if we've got any updates. We also have an enhanced risk of severe weather, which obviously has been overshadowed by our moderate risk. So that's for a wind and hail risk in Oklahoma and Texas. In 10 minutes, that storm that made the wedge tornado went from no rotation to that wedge tornado in not even 5 minutes. Yeah, and a lot of those chasers got really lucky escaping it. They had great views. It's probably about 2 miles wide, if not over, but I don't think it's larger than El Reno. It definitely isn't. We should also mention that on day 3, Wednesday, we have a 15% severe risk for portions of western Arkansas, southern Oklahoma, and northern Texas. That tornado in Nebraska yesterday evening was a freaky one. Thankfully, it was in a remote hill country for the most part. Thankfully, it hit little to no buildings at all, but it did hit a train, and Jesse, many of you know him, he was telling me that we may have an EF3 or EF4 damage indicator with that, because that is a very heavy train, and for that to be flipped by that tornado is absolutely insane. Thankfully, it was a cargo train and not a passenger train. You are not expecting an enhanced risk for the southern plains. Don't think it hit anything but the train. I haven't seen it hit anything other than the train. We already have some wind reports in southern Minnesota and eastern South Dakota. Our Radar Omega alert sounds are not on today because they are pretty buggy sometimes, so we're just going to have to keep a really close eye on things and hope we don't miss anything. What do you think is the hail threat later today? Can the chasers outrun the hail cores at this time? Well, the storms are going to be moving really fast. We were talking about earlier, this is ping pong ball sized hail with this storm. You can see a chaser trying to escape that now in Minnesota. This storm's only moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. But there was one, I don't know if this was a glitch, but it said it was moving northeast at 130 miles an hour. That is really quick. Let's see if I can find it on my desktop. Here it is. Look at this screenshot. Moving northeast at 130 miles per hour. That was a severe thunderstorm warning that expired around 30 minutes ago. So, moving northeast at 130 miles an hour. So, if that is the case, they certainly will not be able to outrun that hail. And we certainly are going to have very large hail today. You can see on this mesoscale discussion, sorry, talking too fast, but this tornado watch, which is soon going to be issued, mentions the probability of hail 2 inches to 3.5 inches. That is lime sized to, I think, large apple size or greater. So that will definitely destroy windshields. So they're going to need to be extra careful today. And then an 170 mile an hour tornado is a low end EF4 if the damage lines up with it. So that is going to be very concerning. And you can see that same area highlighted in there. So how can that be 130 miles per hour? Wow. I don't know if it was really moving that fast. The radar made it look like it was moving 60 or 70, but we should trust the National Weather Service. But that is just insane. Let's see which office issued that. So that was the Sioux Falls office, and if it expired at 3:40, the warning's still in effect because it's in effect till 3:45. It's 3:20, so we just need to look at all of these and see which one it is. 45. Moving northeast at 75. That's pretty quick. 75. Okay, so right now all of our storms are moving at 60 miles an hour with 2 of them moving at 75. They are definitely windshield killers. And side windows, and winds from a tornado or just damaging winds may be capable of blowing out car windows. Today it's going to be very dangerous. As far as I'm aware, the upper level winds are moving pretty quick, quicker than yesterday, that's for sure. Look at this chaser convergence here near Spencer, Iowa. All of those green dots are storm chasers that have their location that has updated in the last 15 minutes. The yellow dots haven't updated for over 30 minutes. So that is a lot of people in that area. Thank you everyone for all the support on this stream. 5 people watching is actually really good for our channel. Typically we get 2 or 3, and we're already at 8 likes. So thank you all so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Hold on everybody, getting a text from somebody that many of you know. Alright. Got that taken care of. Just talking to some other weather people about today's event. Alright. So this line is all these storms have come together, so we're not seeing that discrete activity like some models were showing, but there will be the potential for more storms to develop later. You gotta hop for dinner, you'll check in off and on and see if I'm live. Okay, we probably should be live for at least another 45 minutes on this stream, and if activity does slow down for the time being, we will end the stream, but tonight is supposed to get chaotic, so we should be back. Thanks for tuning in, William. Enjoy your dinner. Thank you, William. I'm glad to see that people are willing to tune into our streams and listen to us, and I'm glad that we're able to help because, you know, people need to be aware of these weather events, so it's very important. Looks like we have some hail trying to develop south of Windham, Minnesota, so we're going to need to keep an eye on that. I don't see many kinks of rotation in this line at the moment. The biggest threat is probably damaging winds and large hail. Thank you, Severe Weather. I really appreciate that. Maybe we'll pass them in subscribers one day. So this tornado watch is in effect until 8 p.m. This one that we're looking at on Radar Omega is the same one you see on the right side of your screen. So the primary threats include a few tornadoes likely with a couple intense tornadoes possible, hail events to 3 inches in diameter likely, that is not good, and scattered damaging wind gusts likely with isolated significant gusts to 80 miles per hour. So that is a destructive severe thunderstorm if it has 80 mile per hour gusts along with 3-inch hail. I may need to go take care of something, probably get some water and stuff, so that'll take just a minute, but I want to do that before things really ramp up. So we're going to go take care of that. So just 1-2 minutes, but I want to get all of that stuff taken care of before things ramp up so we can be here when we are needed the most. So be right back, everybody. I'm going to keep the radar on these storms in southern Minnesota. Oh, we have a tornado possible tag on that severe thunderstorm warning. So just in case we get a tornado warning, I'm going to go really quickly and be right back in 1 to 2 minutes. So be right back, everybody. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back. Alright, sorry about that, everyone. I am back. Looks like we did not get a tornado warning while I was gone, so that is good. Oh, that was my bad. We've been back for about 2 minutes. I just went to get some water, but I just forgot to unmute until now. Sorry about that, everyone. But I was just saying we have a tornado possible tag. Thank you so much for letting me know, by the way, severe weather, because I would have not noticed until I looked at my other screen and saw that we were muted still. But we have a tornado possible tag with a little bit of rotation near the 30. So that's north of, what's this town name? St. James, Minnesota. So we are back. I apologize for that. Thank you for letting me know, severe weather. But we are back. And we do have a new tornado watch that has been issued. This is our tornado watch for a few tornadoes and a couple intense tornadoes likely. That's our new tornado watch where we had our mesoscale discussion. This does include Minneapolis, Minnesota. Hey, Mr. Twister, I think all y'all need to form a group on these big threat days, and when one person has to break away for a bit, like link to another in a group ready for a handoff. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I just need to get in touch with some of those other people. We have talked about that before, and we'll get on a call. So I will definitely look into that. I don't know why I clicked on our risk. We need to take a look at the watches. It looks like the Storm Prediction Center website may not be ready to show our watches yet. Okay. A high possibility of tornadoes with moderate risk of EF2 plus tornadoes. This does include Minneapolis and St. Cloud, Minnesota. So some very populated areas in the region of this. If you are just tuning in, we are live for severe weather coverage. Try to not ask too often, but I would appreciate it if you could subscribe and like the stream. And if you want to go above and beyond, I do have a PayPal in the pin message, but that's completely optional, greatly appreciated. It just helps pay for subscriptions to software like Radar Omega and Radar Scope. Currently we are using Radar Omega. So if you are just joining us, we now have a tornado watch for the Minneapolis, Minnesota region. This is until 11 p.m. Central Daylight Time. It is currently 3:33 p.m. Central Daylight Time, so that's another 7.5 hours. If we go ahead and read this, okay, there we go. There's the actual text. Effective this Monday afternoon from 3:25 p.m., which is 9 minutes ago, until 11 p.m. Primary threats include a few tornadoes and a couple intense tornadoes likely, widespread large hail and scattered very large hail events up to 3 inches in diameter likely, scattered damaging winds likely with isolated significant gusts to 75 miles per hour. Okay, so with this tornado watch, the only difference is we went from having a couple intense tornadoes possible to a couple intense tornadoes likely, and now our damaging wind threat went from 80 to 75. I still would not rule out an 80-mile-an-hour damaging wind gust with a severe thunderstorm. So we should go ahead and get back to our radar. I'm going to turn off a couple of these layers like our mesoscale discussion because that is overloading our screen and there's too many things to look at. So we'll also take off spotter dots. We'll use that for when we need to see live footage of these storms. But we're good for now. Max velocity said this morning, likely 4 p.m. was when the discrete cells would start to form. If they are going to. Yes, and that is exactly what I mentioned last night in our forecast. I stayed up. I had a feeling it wouldn't be a high risk, but I stayed up to wait for the new outlook at 1 a.m. just in case we saw a crazy upgrade, but it was still a moderate risk, so I recorded my forecast, and we talked about how at 21 Zulu time, which is 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time, we would see discrete cells in this general region where I'm circling. And those are going to move east, so sounds like Max and I agree on that. We were probably both looking at the HRRR, so that is good, because if you agree with Max, then you're probably right, because he is very smart. Possible to likely is not good, yes, that is meaning that they have increased confidence in severe thunderstorms, which will produce tornadoes. I don't know if that's a glitch, but there's one county that's included in both tornado watches, or one that expires in 4 hours and 24 minutes, and also the new one. Like minds think alike, yes, and that is a very good saying. If we're not moving around on the radar on the computer, because I don't want to go to any storms and confuse anybody if they're not concerning, but I do have my phone here too, and that's why you tuned in. Yeah, thank you for tuning in, everybody, by the way. The support on this stream, this is probably the best support we've seen since December 28th, so I appreciate all of you being here. I hope we have as many people here for when we get our tornado threat, because when you talk in the live chat, when you like the stream, when you subscribe to the channel, or even just watching, it tells the YouTube, like their system, that you enjoy the stream, and it suggests it to more people on their home pages. So if you're here right now watching, you're helping out. Strong storm that just got warned south of Midland, Texas. Let's take a look at that. Okay, I do see that near Odessa. So that is for half dollar-sized hail. Looks like that's the main threat, and then 60-mile-per-hour winds. So if you are near Midkiff or south of Pleasant Farms, near Crane, Texas, you need to get away from windows and avoid roadways because that could damage your windshield. I'm not 100% sure that could crack it, but we're going to keep an eye on it anyway. If anybody's able to let me know, you guys might be able to hear my keyboard, hopefully not, but the microphone is right by the keyboard and it's built into the computer, so hopefully that is not too loud. I have an external microphone, but my computer has 2 ports, so I decided today I would have it plugged in and use a mouse, but we should be good. I think the best radar for these storms is still the Sioux Falls one, but it is getting further. It's about 84 miles away, and then we'll have to move on to the Minneapolis one, because Omaha and Des Moines radars aren't really going to pick up on anything. Here's another thing. The YouTube algorithm watches comments in live streams in real time, and if comments are relevant to topic, it awards bonus points. I did not know about the relative comments, like if it's on topic, it recommends it more. I just knew that comments are helpful, but thank you for letting me know because I will keep that information in my brain. But I can see that we have a red alert icon now, so we have a tornado warning that has been issued, our second tornado warning of the day. And this actually does look pretty concerning. Rotation. Let's get the dual view up. You can see there's rotation near Forest City, Minnesota, and that is basically on top of Forest City, so you need to seek shelter now on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows in a hallway or room, such as a closet, storm shelter. Just make sure you are away from windows and away from the outside. So this is our main concern now, and this is for areas north of Minneapolis, northwest. Okay. So this is radar indicated with $half sized hail too. So that is some decent sized hail. I just realized our images may make it so you cannot fully see our velocity. So we'll make those a little bit smaller. But they will still be there. There you go. That's a little better. So you can see a little bit of a hook. I don't know if that's just the rain wrapping around, but you can see that on the reflectivity. That was a terrible circle. There you go, right in there. And then there's our rotation. So that does line up. And just in case, I do want to check the CC. Thankfully, I do not see anything that lines up for having debris in the air. So this is unlikely that it would be on the ground, but we're going to watch it just in case. If we get a tornado out of this, I'm expecting it to be very strong. And I would too. This is actually in our old tornado watch. It's about to cross into our new tornado watch zone. Just out of curiosity, we should check what tornado risk it's in. But just a reminder, I heard somebody say this the other day, and we've mentioned it too. I think Davis said this yesterday. The risk or the level of tornado warning does not matter. The tornado does not care if it's a tornado warning or a tornado emergency. I've heard Max say that. I've said it before, and then Davis said it yesterday. So that reminded me of that. But this is in our 15% hatched risk. So that just means that that is the most favorable area today for tornadoes. Also, speaking of yesterday was absolutely insane. I am super sorry we were not able to be live yesterday. I was out of the house, but now we are back, and we should be here for a lot of coverage today. Our longest stream ever is, I believe, around 2.5 hours. We've been live for 5 hours and 15 minutes in a day, but not in one stream. I think we should have a goal of being live for at least a few hours, whenever we're needed. So we currently have 1 tornado warning, 5 severe thunderstorm warnings. You saw 203 3 Cape, not far. The highest I've seen is 193 3 Cape in northern Iowa, near the town. I actually remember the town. It was near Northwood, Iowa, just south of the Minnesota border. Let's check back on our velocity. People need to remember all of the forecast areas are just guidelines, not prediction zones per se. Yeah. And even if today, theoretically, if today stayed an enhanced risk or high risk, the environment wouldn't change based off what the Storm Prediction Center says, so we still need to treat it very seriously, but they did put that moderate risk in place, and for good reason. Also, we have some big hail moving towards Watkins, Minnesota, along with this rotation. So if you're in Forest City, west of Kingston, Minnesota, or near Watkins, you need to seek shelter away from windows for hail and a potential tornado trying to develop. Okay, so there's velocity. We'll keep this on CC for now, along with velocity. If you are just tuning in, we have a tornado warning in effect. This does include a small portion of Interstate 94 near Clearwater, Minnesota, and Luxembourg, south of St. Cloud. So if you are south of St. Cloud, Minnesota, you need to be prepared and have a plan for where you are going to go if a tornado warning is extended into your area. We're going to move away from that tornado warning just a second. We're going to check on this severe thunderstorm warning in Minnesota and Iowa, and then also our one in Texas. How far away is that storm from the radar site? That's a great question, actually. We should check. So the closest radar would be the one for Minneapolis near Victoria, Minnesota. And the rotation with that storm is about 51 miles away. So we do have relatively good coverage, but as that moves north, it will slowly get worse. Let's check in on our Texas storm. This storm is pretty lonely. I don't know what the tornado risk for this area is, but it is discrete. Okay, 2%, so very low, but we'll still keep an eye on anything spin up. But it looks like the hail activity is going down, so that is good. But remain in your safe place near Midkiff, south of Midkiff, Texas, just in case that hail does ramp up, just away from windows. You don't necessarily need to be in a basement. But I want to stay focused on our tornado warning right now near Watkins, Minnesota. Pretty good radar on it then. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good coverage. We have all the detail we need to be able to detect rotation. And speaking of rotation, I can certainly see that near Forest City. So if you're in Forest City, south of Eden Valley, Minnesota, you need to be in your safe spot. That means a basement or a storm shelter away from windows, lowest floor of a sturdy building. And if you're in a mobile home, you need to get into a ditch, or if you're in the path, like near Clearwater, Minnesota, you just need to get away from it at this point. But if you're in Forest City, you just need to batten down the hatches and just ride it out. But that is a good topic to bring up if you are in a mobile home. For the people who are in mobile homes and have not been hit by a storm yet, you need to have a plan for where you're going to go, and also make sure you have multiple ways. This goes for everybody. Make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts. You could have me here on YouTube. That counts as one way to stay updated. We got a new scan on reflectivity. We'll look at that in a second. But you could get alerts from me. You also need to have wireless emergency alerts on your cell phone. National Weather Service NOAA radios are a really good way, but there is going to be an outage on those tomorrow. So yeah. Welcome in new viewers. We actually have 9 viewers watching. So if you are just tuning in, you need to seek shelter now in Forest City, north of Litchfield, near Watkins, Kimball, Luxembourg, all in Minnesota. We do have some radar indicated rotation. If you do enjoy the stream and you want to help out some more people with weather events, you can talk in live chat, like the stream, subscribe. Or if you want to support me by helping out with radar costs, we try not to ask too often, but there is a PayPal in the pin message. I am so glad I was able to fix our issues. The main reason I wasn't live last night is because I think the night before or something, last time we tried to go live, there was serious lag. I was able to fix that. I had to spend nearly an hour messing with OBS settings. But if anybody wants to let me know in chat, I think the stream is doing really well right now, should it be laggy. William says that tornado last night, there was a lot of contamination, making it difficult sometimes to judge true debris signature. Correct. I remembered when we went live, it was for about 30 minutes last night. It was so hard to tell where the rotation was on the velocity because the velocities kept breaking because of how large the tornado was, I'm assuming. And also, there was so much contamination you couldn't tell what was debris or rotation or what was just rain. That is a great point, William. The stream is very smooth. Okay, good to hear. We do have it on 1080p 60, so to make sure there is no lag, you can go to your quality settings and set it to 1080p 60. Previously, we used to stream in 720p 30, which is lower quality, so it's blurrier and half the frame rate. It's fine to ask and remind about donations. After all, you are starting a business, young fellow. Yeah, thank you. I just don't want to be too pushy about it, and it is completely optional because our mission is not and never has been to make money. It's been to help people out, but it definitely does support me and is greatly appreciated. Okay, so this rotation, which appears to be right over here, is moving straight towards Watkins, Minnesota. It's moving pretty quickly, moving at 50 miles per hour, so that is relatively fast. So, and there's that latest scan on reflectivity. You can see it going towards there. So get in your basement, storm shelter, or away from windows. Lowest floor of a sturdy building. Do not be outside to try to see this. It may be wrapped in rain if there is a tornado, but as far as we're aware, there is not a tornado on the ground at the moment. Let's see if we can find any chasers or cameras. I need to turn on cyclone port. Okay, we have that on. It looks like there's no chasers or live cameras in this area, so we're just going to have to rely on radar and emergency management reports, which we have not received any of those yet. Okay, there's our new velocity scan. I can still see that rotation moving towards Watkins. It's not a tornado on the ground, but we should treat it like it is and get into our safe spots, because with an environment like this, it could very well go from a rotation to being on the ground in just a few minutes. The tornado warning now, golf ball sized hail. Wow, it is golf ball sized hail. So if they were to issue a severe thunderstorm warning too, that is a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. So not only do you need to be away from windows for a tornado and flying debris, you need to be away from your windows for hail, and then in your basement for the tornado. I know we were just talking about the PayPal. I will check that every few minutes just to make sure we don't miss anything, because obviously we do want to thank all of those people who go above and beyond. William with the $10 dono. Thank you so much. Absolute legend in the chat. We're going to get a dono board started. We don't typically do that, but we'll do that. But once again, for the people in Watkins, Minnesota near Kimball, you do need to be in your safe spot. Thank you so much, William. I really appreciate that. That actually helps out so much. 1, 2, 3. I really appreciate that. That is so helpful. I know asking does work. I just don't want to be pushy with people, but thank you so much. I don't even know what to say because I was not expecting that. But we're going to get back to the weather for the immediate moment. We could talk back, or we can go back to that later and talk more about it. But there you are on the donation board, William. This tornado warning is in effect for another 21 minutes. So be in your safe spot near Kimball and Watkins, Minnesota. this storm is semi-discrete. It's away from storms, but there are storms in the area. It's not all by itself, but this is heading for the St. Cloud, St. Joseph, Minnesota region. So you do need to have a plan for your safe spot. So just know where to go. Pro tip, don't let the donor board distract from business at hand with weather coverage. Yeah, that's why I didn't have one set up. I didn't think we were going to do it, but I just want to thank those people that go above and beyond. But if we had a confirmed large tornado on the ground, we wouldn't be doing a dono board or checking in on it that quickly. There is a lot of info, especially from some of those other. Max Velocities just went live. I just received the notification from YouTube. Probably going live for this first tornado warning. We are still only at one tornado warning, which is good. We want as little tornadoes as possible. The main reason we are here is to cover them if they do happen. Yesterday was perfect day. Storm chaser's dream. All the weather enthusiasts were pretty satisfied because there were little to no people out there where those storms were. So super grateful for that, because if that tornado even hit a town with 200 people, that would have been a nightmare. The 2 mile wide one, roughly 2 mile wide one. This rotation still does appear really strong to me, so we may see something try to develop. I want to check CC really quick. I see a couple pixels near Kimball, but I couldn't confirm it. So just be in your safe spot, please, in case this is on the ground. Alright, see you, severe weather. Hope to see you back here soon. Thanks for tuning in. Moisture content surging south is crazy high today. Gives storms like that plenty to work with. Surging up from the south. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Surging up from the south towards the north. I know what you mean. Especially with some of those other storms helping each other out. Because when there's multiple storms in an environment, they can either really help each other when they collide, or they can kind of choke off each other and they'll all kind of just die out. And that is what ideally happens in most situations. But unfortunately, that's not always the case. I can see on my OBS screen, it says that we're having our audio coming out in dropped frames. Is anybody in chat able to tell me if we're cutting out a little bit? Hopefully it's not too bad. But if it does get worse, I will mirror the iPad because that fixes the issue. But I do prefer being on the computer. It just says the audio is cutting out pretty bad. But I can see what sort of looks like a hook near Kimball, Minnesota. So if you're in Fairhaven, South Haven, Kimball, Minnesota, you need to be in your safe spot immediately. I do see a couple pixels on a CC. Maybe a CC drop, not 100% sure, but we're going to treat it as it is, because that does line up with the velocities, unfortunately, near the Kimball Golf Club. So you need to get in your safe spot. Dinner ready now, be right back. Alright, sounds good, William. Enjoy your dinner. Hope to see you back here soon. Thanks for tuning in. I think just for a second, I'm going to move over to the iPad. Okay, looks like that CC did lighten up, so that's good. But I'm going to, I think we'll mirror to the iPad for just a quick second to make sure everything is working. So I will still be here talking to you all, looking at the radar, giving updates, but you will not be able to see anything just for a minute. Okay, I have gotten the iPad set up, so we're going to transfer back to that. There's that screenshot we were looking at earlier with the 130 mile an hour severe thunderstorm, or that's how quickly it was moving. But I'm going to do a screen capture really quick, and we'll just move over there for the time being. Okay, we have moved over to the iPad. Looks like that worked. So, this rotation still near Kimball, Minnesota, so you need to be in your safe spot right now. In Kimball, Minnesota, and near Marty, South Haven, east of Watkins, Minnesota. This is radar indicated rotation along with golf ball sized hail. This tornado warning is in effect for another 14 minutes until 4:15 p.m. Central Time. So, that's what I'm concerned about right now. We actually have another tornado watch that has been issued. This one for portions of Oklahoma, actually. So if we do get our tornado risk pulled up, we have a 5% tornado risk near Oklahoma City. So this tornado watch, let's get that pulled up. Okay, it looks like we can't see the text for it yet. It's just showing the counties, but we'll go over that. So in Oklahoma, the counties included in this are Canadian, Kingfisher, McLean, Pottawatomie. Let's go, I said it right. Cleveland, Lincoln, Oklahoma, Grady, Logan, and Payne, Pontotoc, Seminole, Blaine, Carter, Love, Garvin, Murray, Jefferson, Stevens, Caddo, Greer, Kiowa, Comanche, Harmon, Tillman, Cotton, Jackson, Custer, Washita, and then in Texas, Archer, Ford, Wichita, Baylor, Hardeman, Wilbarger, and Clay and Knox. So that is a tornado watch for portions of Oklahoma and Texas, just issued. Keep an eye on that as well. We are at one tornado warning in effect right now near Luxembourg and Kimball, Minnesota. Let's get our tornado risk off because that's a bit bright in the background. There is still rotation near Kimball. We'll check on correlation coefficient because good idea to keep an eye on that. Not sure what this is. It doesn't fully line up with velocities, but we're gonna watch it just as carefully anyway. If you are just tuning in, we have a tornado warning near Watkins, Clearwater, St. Cloud, Luxembourg, Minnesota. The areas that need to seek shelter right now are Luxembourg, south of Luxembourg, particularly Watkins, Marty, Kimball in Minnesota. This is radar indicated rotation at the moment, so that we are going to continue to keep an eye on it. Gonna try moving back to the computer for a second because I think our issue has been resolved for the most part. Yeah, it looks like we are good. So if you are just tuning in, we do have rotation, which could try and produce a tornado. And that is near Kimball, Minnesota. Hello, Sawyer Spiral. Thanks for tuning into the stream. Hope you're doing well. If you do have any questions for your location or anywhere, please feel free to let me know. For anybody else just tuning in, we just got a tornado watch for portions of central Oklahoma along with West Texas, which includes San Angelo, Abilene, Seymour, areas west of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So thanks for tuning in. We are 1 like away from our like goal of 10 likes. We are at 9. Thanks everyone for the amazing support this stream. We have been live for an hour and 3 minutes. So once again, if you have any questions for your location, feel free to let me know. We currently have 1 tornado warning and 5 severe thunderstorm warnings. Can see that rotation on radar. Sawyer Spiral, since you're in here, are you able to let me know, is our microphone cutting out? Are we having issues? I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. Just checking. So there is rotation near Kimball, Minnesota. In Kimball, Fairhaven, South Haven, south of Luxembourg. You need to run, not walk to your safe spot. This is radar indicated rotation, but this could touch down. Okay, it sounds good. Alright. OBS was saying we were having issues, but sometimes it lies to me, unfortunately. Thanks for letting me know. Sorry if I'm a little bit quiet, just making sure we share this stream out with as many people as possible. And also watching the radar off of the stream. Be right back, everybody. Just give me 1 minute, probably literally 10 or 20 seconds. I'm just going to put BRB on the screen and mute real quick. So be right back, literally 20 seconds. Alright, we're back. See how quick that was? I probably didn't even need to put BRB on the screen, but I did just in case. Our tornado warning expires in 7 minutes at 4:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time. We'll see if they reissue that. It is moving towards the St. Cloud area, just that storm in general. This also comes with ping pong ball sized hail, so if they do not reissue the tornado warning, we'll probably get a severe thunderstorm warning with it at least. If you are just tuning in, we currently have a tornado warning near Clearwater, Luxembourg, Minnesota, so seek shelter north of Kimball, south of Luxembourg near Clearwater, or in that portion of Interstate 94. If you are just tuning in, subscribing to the channel or liking the stream, even just watching, helps out, helps spread the message of these weather events. Also, there is a PayPal in the pin message. We try not to ask too often. You can see you will be put on the donation board. That's completely optional though, but it is greatly appreciated. Getting back to the weather, we do still have a severe thunderstorm warning for another 8 minutes south of Midland, Texas. Looks like some hail picking up near Midkiff, so seek shelter here because that could damage some windows or windshields. Make sure you have your cars inside, but if it is already hailing, don't go out for your cars because it's much more important that you don't get injured. going to keep an eye on the live chat. If you have any questions for your location, feel free to let me know. We're going to go back to our tornado warning area. That expires in 4 minutes. We'll see if they reissue it. We've got our reflectivity and our velocity pulled up. Reflectivity is on the left, velocity is on the right. There's our rotation. You can see it circled on both screens. That was a terrible circle on the right, but that's okay. You can put in a zip code, state, area of a state, city, county. If you say a county, just put what state with it, because some counties are in multiple states, like the names. Still waiting to see if they will reissue that tornado warning. If they don't, there will probably be a severe thunderstorm warning put out for that area. Also, there is a severe thunderstorm warning. Actually, this is a tornado possible tag on it. We should take a look. This is south of Little Falls, Minnesota. A little bit of rotation near Royalton, so just be prepared to go to your safe spot if necessary, and I will let you know what does happen. But currently just down to that one tornado warning and 7 severe thunderstorm warnings. That tornado warning does expire in 2 minutes, by the way. So welcome in new viewers. We are tracking a tornado warning in Minnesota, expires in 2 minutes with ping pong ball sized hail. If you do enjoy the stream, please be sure to like it. And if you'd like to go above and beyond and help support me with funding things for different radar apps, I do have a PayPal in the pinned message. You will be put on the dono board with William. And yeah, that's completely optional though. We try not to ask too much, but just want to let you all know that is there. We're going to be here regardless of whether or not we do get donations, because our main mission is to help people, but you could go that extra mile and just help out. So I'll be live as long as I can. But if we do see this tornado warning expire and we don't have much activity, we may end the stream. But I have decided that if we end this stream and come back later, the donation board will carry over, since it's the same day, same severe weather outbreak. So, and we haven't even seen our main storms yet. Those are supposed to start firing in this area. Let's see. Not too many discrete cells, honestly. Just this one near Mapleton, Iowa, that has quickly developed. That's gonna do something. Just taking screenshots of that, keeping a record of that storm, because I have a feeling that will do something. That cell is probably going to do something at some point, but we no longer have that tornado warning. They should reissue a severe thunderstorm warning for this for at least half dollar sized hail, which is 1.25 inches. But if we don't see a new tornado warning in the next 10 to 15 minutes, we will likely end off the live stream and come back later. This will not be the last stream. We should have a stream this evening, unless for some reason everything completely stops, but I highly doubt that. Okay, new tornado warning. This one is for another 29 minutes. This is going to pass just south of the St. Cloud Airport. So $half size hail, we called that hail tag out. Look at $half size. That's exactly how large I said it would be. So in Clearwater, Minnesota, you need to seek shelter now. This is a rotation in your area. You can see that rotation in there. The green is wind going towards the radar. So the green is going there. And then where you see the red, that's going up north, away. And then in the middle is where that rotation is. That was a bad circle in the middle. Let's redo that. Alright, there you go. So that's near Interstate 94. If you are in Interstate 94 between Clearwater Estates and St. Augusta, Minnesota, you need to pull off the roadway. You'll be surfing the live streams tonight. You imagine everyone will be live by 5 p.m. Yeah, I do too. I was just mentioning, by the way, we did just see that tornado warning reissued. That's the only thing you've missed, really. And there's a tornado watch for portions of Oklahoma and Texas now in our 5% risk. But I was just mentioning, I'm not sure what this cell will do, but we are seeing a discrete cell develop. William, let me know what you think of this, but I think this storm has the capability to do something. Look at, this is this same storm about 23 minutes ago, and then there's the way it's progressed. Look at it near Danbury now, so that has developed over the past 24 minutes now. I think at some point that will be one of our discrete cells that we are looking out for. I'm calling that out right now, along with that one near Cherokee. We also just called out the hail tag on that tornado warning, but we don't want to brag. It's more about keeping people safe. But it is great when we do things correctly. That system is moving fast. Yes, this tornado warning is moving now at 45 miles an hour. It was moving at 50 earlier. So let's actually use the Radar Omega tool to calculate. Oh, I just got microphone feedback. I could hear it through my computer. Thankfully the stream couldn't, I don't think. So this rotation, if it's not already, will be in Clearwater in the next 7 minutes. I expect it in Clear Lake in the next 10 minutes. These time estimates are not the most accurate, but I'm also able to tell myself based off the movement. So I give Estes Brook 25 minutes, Oak Park about the same. It'll probably be in Briggs Lake in the next 10 minutes, Clear Lake in the 5, and then it's already in Clearwater, where you see that green and red. So in Clearwater State, sorry. It bloomed and exploded right out the gate. Yes, it's already producing heavy rain and probably lightning soon, very soon. Do also want to mention we have a special weather statement, which includes Stapleton, Ogallala, Sutherland, Paxton, Hershey, North Platte, Nebraska. This special weather statement, part of it is in the mountain time zone where it is 3:19 p.m. Part of it is at 4:19 p.m. I've actually traveled through here before. The time changes right here between Sutherland and Paxton, so that's in effect for another 26 minutes. But getting back to our tornado warning, we were going to end stream if we didn't see this warning reissued, but I think we're going to keep it. But if I gotta go, understand life happens. Yeah, thankfully I don't have too many plans tonight other than probably having to eat, which I'll probably get done in the next hour or so early, just so that later I have time for weather stuff. We have been live for an hour, 17 minutes, and 34 seconds right now. I see the counter pulled up. The little chart in OBS on my second screen shows the connection is dropping, so hopefully everybody can still hear me. That's not always the most accurate though, but it is something to keep an eye on. Also, William, I don't think you were in here when I said this, but just for later when we come back, this donation board will carry over to the next stream. Just because they're in the same day, same weather event. You'll check back in if I go live again. Alright, sounds good. For anybody who wants to come back later when I go live again, be sure you subscribe with notifications on. We're not ending off quite yet, though, because we do still have this tornado warning, and I am a little bit concerned about it near Clearwater, because that's a big area of rotation. All of that is part of the storm rotating. There you go. That's better. Fixed our circle. I know Max and Ryan are live. I don't know if anybody else that we know. I don't know if the boys went live yet. For some reason, I had school off today. Sometimes we have off days to make up for stuff. So, yeah. If I did have school, I wouldn't be live for at least another hour. But thankfully, we haven't had anything touch down. But it is nice to have that early coverage just in case. Notifications on? Alright, that's good. So you will be here. Sounds good. For anybody wondering how to turn on notifications, first you have to subscribe. So you hit that, and then once you've subscribed, you can hit the little button that would let you unsubscribe. Just hit the button that says subscribed, and then for notifications, hit all. Because if you hit personalized, it's only gonna send you them if I put your link in the chat, and I can't do that for everybody. Looks like just Max right now. Did Ryan end his stream? I'm checking right now. Ryan's still live. They don't typically end and come back. They typically just do like a 10-hour stream, which is absolutely insane. Hopefully when I'm older I can do that as well. But this tornado warning is in effect for another 23 minutes, which is until 4:45 p.m. Central Daylight Time. This is for southeastern Benton County in central Minnesota, northwestern Sherburne County in central Minnesota, southeastern Stearns County in central Minnesota, and northern Wright County in central Minnesota. Yeah, sometimes they do kind of end off, but everybody has busy schedules sometimes. I have made sure, so if anybody's wondering what my setup is, I have a laptop and then I use an old iPad as a second monitor, which is where I have OBS, so that we don't have to swipe out of Radar Omega to look at OBS. So I can change things about the overlay right now. See, I can move this little image around without having to show you all OBS, so that's nice. So the iPad's connected, and then I read chat on my phone. Everything is plugged in right now, so they will have full charge for our later stream, because it has been an issue before where things are dying. This rotation, as William was saying, is just growing. You can see where the green and red come together and how it almost looks like we had two rotations at one point and they just combined, but I couldn't tell you, but they're getting strong. Dave should be live soon, I would think, with T warnings popping up. Yeah, it is just one right now. If we really wanted to, I could ask him. Maybe I will at some point. He's probably mentioned it on his community tab. His community tab says, why does Southwest Oklahoma look more impressive than the entirety of the 15% HAZ risk? So I'm glad he brought that up, because we definitely need to keep an eye on that risk too. Everybody's going to focus on the moderate risk. Looks like we got a new update on velocity. This is just crossing Highway 10. There is also a $half sized hill with this, which is pretty big. That's more north of the rotation, though. I'm not sure if that could destroy a windshield or windows, but could definitely crack them. but I'd put the rotation more at quarter size rather than $half size because it is more widespread and it's barely pink and purple. So quarter size probably at the max. For me is what I would put that at. Okay, we have a new tornado warning south. This is an observed tornado warning. This is ramping up quickly. This is in a sort of a poor radar area, but this is a tornado on the ground. You can barely tell anything on velocity. Oh, there's Davis. Davis just went live. I just got his notification. He was waiting for that observed tornado warning. This is a tornado on the ground to the west of Fairmont, Minnesota. You need to be in your safe spot now. Seek shelter now on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from a hallway, rooms. You need to be in a closet, away from windows, basement, storm shelter, whatever it is. We're going to take a look at Stormrunner Media's feed for just a second. Okay, you can see that. I don't want to look at their feed for too long, but that is rain wrapped. You can see, so you're not going to be able to see it, so please do not try to see this storm. Let's see if Connor can see anything. You can definitely see some. I think I may be able to see the tornado. So Davis is now live. This is near Welcome, Fox Lake, Sherburne, to the west of Fairmont, Minnesota. This is an observed tornado. Tornado on the ground along with quarter-sized hail. Not the best radar coverage here, so we're going to need to rely on chasers too. Hello there, Robloxian Gamer. Thanks for tuning into the stream. Hope you're doing well. If you do have any questions, if anybody has any questions for their location, be sure to let me know. Look at that on Vince Walty's stream. That is a monster shelf cloud. Take a look at this, everybody. See it in the middle? It's not letting me full screen his feed. But look at that. Look at that. Where is this at? This tornado warning is near Welcome in Fairmont, Minnesota. So in Fairmont, Minnesota, Welcome, east of Sherburne, Fox Lake, Northrop, Granada, and south of Truman. You need to be in your safe spot right now, in the red polygon. We should make the polygon border a little bit thicker, just by like 1 notch, so people can see it. There you go. I think that's good. If Davis or anybody else like Mr. Storm or anybody wants to hop on the phone, maybe we will call them in a little bit. But we gotta lock in on this tornado warning. Check velocity. It's very hard to see on velocity right now. So that's very concerning. Anything for Comanche County? As in Comanche County, Minnesota, I'm assuming. County. Sorry if there's keyboard noises. I think you must mean Oklahoma. Oklahoma. Oh yeah, I remember you in Lawton, Oklahoma. I remember you from the other night. That you are under a tornado watch until 11 p.m. So there is damaging large hail up to 3 inches of diameter possible. A couple tornadoes possible and damaging wind gusts to 75 miles an hour are all possible tonight through 11 p.m. Reminds of last night, shelf and wall clouds. These things are really huge out there in the Plain States. Yeah, they get really big storms out there. Really wide. Because you hear of wedge tornadoes down here in Dixie Alley, but sometimes they're not nearly as wide as these other ones that we see in the northern plains. This is really rain wrapped. You can still see the rain on Storm Runner Media's feed. They may be stopping or slowing down because they are heading straight towards that hail, but Vince just had a really great view. Oh, he's cutting out now, but I can see some rotation on his. Let's check Connor. I can see hail, and something's in there for sure. You think the relatively flat terrain has a lot to do with those huge features? I do as well. And thankfully, a lot of the times with these bigger storms, they are in more rural areas. But every once in a while, we do get unlucky. And this is a pretty populated area. I'm going to ask Siri what the population of Fairmont, Minnesota is. Fairmont, Minnesota population. 10,000 as of 2020. So that is a lot of people if they were to be impacted by a tornado in this general region, the Fairmont region. So you need to be in your safe spot right now. That is a basement, storm shelter, closet, bathroom, away from windows and away from exterior walls. Lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows, and away from the outside world. The center of a house is the best position. If you don't have a basement, center hallway, somewhere away from windows. So if you are just tuning in, sorry we got a little quiet. I've just been looking for any storm updates on my phone, social media to see if we have any reports of damage. I haven't seen any at the moment, thankfully, but near Welcome in Minnesota is right where that rotation is, in portions of Interstate 90. So if you are driving, if you're on the road right now, I need you to listen to me. You need to not be on Interstate 90 between Sherburne, Minnesota, and Blue Earth, Minnesota. This whole area you want to avoid. Tornadoes and supercells are just different forms of electrical discharge. Broad, wide open space gives much surface area for dark mode plasma flow from cloud base to ground surface. I think I get what you mean, and I don't think you're wrong. I think that the open areas are certainly helpful when it comes to growing storms. And you saw how much lightning there was last night. I feel like there's always more lightning in rural areas. That's just what I noticed. Last night there was constant lightning. Rotation intensifying on northern storm. Thank you for letting me know, Sawyer. We'll go back to that tornado warning. This is where we had our extension of our original tornado warning that we tracked earlier. I know William and severe weather were here. Still very wide rotation with that. The difference between this storm and the other one is with this one we actually have good radar coverage. Because we're using the same radar for both. But this southern storm is, let's measure, This southern storm is the rotation is 94 miles from radar, and the other one is 46, so that's about half the distance. Thank you again for letting me know, Sawyer. Other than the tornado watch on the left part of your screen, we also have one in Oklahoma and Texas, and one just east of the one on your screen. I can add those later. This is just the one we had issued before we went live. It's better than having nothing up there, so we'll keep it there. There were probably 20k plus lightning strikes in last night's system. It wouldn't surprise me at all, honestly. I don't know how much the average storm produces, but there were so many. This may just be the edge of the storm, but we may have some rotation near Interstate 80 in Ogallala, Nebraska. That is a pretty small town. I've been there before. I drove through last summer, and I'm going to again this summer. So, yeah. So this is still an observed tornado warning with ping pong ball sized hail now. It's weird. The tornado warning says quarter sized hail, but the severe thunderstorm warning, which encompasses the tornado warning, says ping pong ball sized hail. Honestly, if it's picking up on that much hail in the pink and purple and we're 90 miles away from a radar, it's probably much larger hail than that, so we'll treat it as ping pong ball size. Northern one is definitely winding up. We're going to keep an eye on both. What we can actually do is I can have this one pulled up on here, and then instead of constantly zooming in and out, it's much easier to just transfer the iPad onto the screen, and we can have that one focused on the other one. So let me just get the iPad. I think that's the easy way to do it. So really quickly, we're going to take a look at the northern one. Okay, so here's one last look at this one for a little bit. Observed tornado on the ground near Fairmont and Welcome, Northrop in Minnesota, but I am seeing some reports that that is just a funnel cloud, but we're going to treat it like it's on the ground because that's what the National Weather Service has warned it for. Now we're going to take a look at our northern storm really quick. Okay, so this northern storm is near Glendorado, Santiago, that is in Minnesota. Very wide area of rotation over here. So you need to be sure that you are in your safe spot and you are prepared to fully seek shelter. Hopefully you all can see that. So really quickly, we're going to go back to our observed tornado since it is on the ground. So we are back on that one now. If you are just tuning in, please be sure to like the stream or subscribe to the channel, just because that helps notify other people that we are live. If one were able to measure the E field near surface right underneath that wall cloud last night, voltage surges would have measured off the charts. Yeah. You are definitely correct about that. That's the only way a huge windstorm can support the level of lightning we saw. The fact that that one storm was able to balance having that much lightning, that large of hail, and that wide of tornadoes, and that many tornadoes is still absolutely insane to me. If I'm a little quiet, I'm just keeping an eye on everything on my phone to see if any reports. This is now a radar indicated tornado warning though, by the way. Alright, so gonna keep an eye on both of these rotations. Both of these are now radar indicated. Rotation is developing south of Clearwater, Minnesota. Would it be surprised if a tornado warning is issued soon? That's where our other rotation moved through. Near Glendorado and Santiago. We're going to keep an eye on both of these rotations. So, not only on this storm do we have our one tornado warning, there is another one developing near Clearwater. See? 2 of them. So we have our tornado warned one and our non-tornado warned one. It needs to go tornado warned as soon as possible. Any CC drop with it? Let's check. No, I don't see anything that lines up. Davis says he wouldn't be shocked if there was an ongoing tornado with that. No debris signature with it right now, but that's very impressive velocities just to the west of Highway 10. Sounds like we got a new tornado warning. We're just waiting for that to load. There it is. New tornado warning for Princeton, Glendorado. This is an extension of our old one. This is in Minnesota. So be sure to get into your safe spot. Lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows. Hallway, room, closet, basement. Center of a sturdy building. We now have 3 tornado warnings. We are starting to see that activity ramp up. You should get a bigger monitor, can barely make out city names. Your old eyesight not what it used to be. Bigger monitors are definitely a great investment to make. The one I use on my laptop is 13.3 inches, but I do sit pretty close to it, I'd say. And then I have a second monitor, which is a 9.7 inch iPad. Good on you for watching this one from the start. Thank you. Other than Ryan, since he went live early, we went live about the same time. Then Max went live about 45 minutes ago. But Davis and everybody, they're just starting to go live. We've been watching it for a while, just because had nothing else to do and want to keep y'all updated because this could start up so quickly. Things will just really ramp up with that. We have a unwarned, I believe, funnel cloud or potential tornado near Clear Lake, Minnesota. So be sure you are seeking shelter now. Yeah, we have been staying on it. Thank you for that, William. Just want to make sure everybody is alert. Lots of chasers on this right now. We can see that rotation more on velocity as it moves miles closer to the radar. Look how dark those clouds are on Connor's feed. You can see that. This was not confirmed by any of these chasers. This was confirmed by a weather spotter who does not have a live feed. We'll dip out over to Davis's channel for a bit here in a minute. I want to see what he's doing too. He's on call with Levi and Jesse, and they're on stream right now. Both of those are very concerning. Yeah, all 3 rotations now, actually. This one near Fairmont. So if you're north of Fairmont, Minnesota, you need to seek shelter now. Also, if you are near Princeton, all the way back towards Clear Lake, there's some rotation with both of those storms. You need to be in your safe spot now. And if you're anywhere in these areas, you just need to have a plan for where you will go if a tornado warning is issued. Or a very large hail. What's the next populated towns downstream of them? Well, this one, it was just near Fairmont, and then it doesn't have any for a while into like Mankato and Winnipeg, so that's at least another 30 or 40 miles. This other one has many more population centers near Princeton and Cambridge. We should check on our Oklahoma. Actually, we have a storm near Salina, Kansas, and Abilene, Kansas, with some ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds near Interstate 70. So be sure to seek shelter. We also have 70-mile-per-hour winds and golf ball sized hail south of Midland, Texas. So be sure you are in your safe spot for that hail and those damaging winds. This storm up here is sort of becoming a line near Fairmont, QLCS, as you can tell. Those storms are more together than we thought they would. We thought they would be more discreet, but they are very joined together. So, I'm not sure if we will see a tornado touchdown because that is a QLCS event. We have been live for an hour, 48 minutes, and 3 seconds. So we're just going to continue to keep an eye on this. I probably will have to end the stream around the 2-hour mark, sadly. just because I've got some stuff to take care of, but we should be back later. We'll be live as long as we can, though. I don't want to plan for when we're ending, but just letting you all know. If I leave for a while and go back later, we'll see you then. Dipping out over to Davis for a minute just to check in. Yeah. Alright, sounds good. We'll still be here for a little while longer at least, though. So, feel free to pop over to his stream anytime, William. Just let me know when you are back. So near Winnebago, Granada, we still do have that rotation. You can see it on the right with velocity and on reflectivity. So be sure that you are in your safe spot. And then north of Baldwin, near Princeton, Minnesota, there is a radar indicated tornado warning. So be in your safe spot if you are under tornado warning, even if the tornado is not on the ground. Near Clear Lake, let's see if that rotation does look to be loosening a little bit, but we're going to continue to monitor it. Thanks for tuning in once again, William. $half sized hail near Blue Earth and 0.20 or 1.25 inch $half sized hail with 60-mile-per-hour winds. That's near Winnebago, Minnesota Lake, Mapleton, Vernon Center. News HRRR model shows a discrete cell in northern Iowa, which will cause big problems if it pans out. If it does pan out, it definitely will cause big problems, but the issue is that these storms are all coming together and they're not very discrete anymore. But obviously it is a good thing if these storms are not discrete, because we don't want them to produce a tornado. But they do have the potential, so we're going to keep an eye on it. Thanks for tuning in once again, Sawyer. If we're a little quiet, I'm just keeping an eye on our storm reports. But let's check up on our southern storm in Texas, which now has a flash flood warning. Radar indicated for Crane, Midkiff, Rankin, Texas for heavy rain caused by thunderstorms. 70-mile-per-hour winds and golf ball-sized hail here near Midkiff and St. Lawrence, Garden City in Texas. So be sure to seek shelter away from windows. There is a tornado watch. In yellow is where you see those tornado watches. In effect, the little red boxes are tornado warnings, and the orange small boxes are severe thunderstorm warnings. New severe thunderstorm warning for Abilene, Kansas, Chapman, and Buckeye near Enterprise for I-70. between New Cambria and Junction City. That's ping pong ball size tail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Let's check in on stream chat. Alright, no new messages right now. That's okay. Just want to keep an eye on it. We will probably have to end off in just a couple minutes, but I do want to make sure we are here as long as possible. So near Princeton and Pease, Wyanett, you need south of Millica. You need to seek shelter, lowest floor of sturdy building, away from hallway room. There's that Vernon Center, Amboy, Winnebago, Granada, Northrop, Fairmont, all in that tornado warning too. So you need to be sure that you are seeking shelter away from windows, lowest floor of a sturdy building, hallway or room, such as a closet, away from exterior walls. New tornado watch just issued. We're going to wait just a second for that to load on Radar Omega, but I do have it pulled up. That's for portions of Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, and Missouri. Just wait any second. In this area, the tornado watch will pull up. Radar Omega is sometimes delayed with these things popping up, but we'll just keep an eye on it for a second. If you are just tuning in, please consider liking the stream as it does help out. Looks like we lost a like. We're now down to 8, but that's okay. If you are just tuning in today, we are live covering a moderate risk of severe weather. We'll look at that on the SPC. I want to give an overview of everything today. Level 4 out of 5 moderate risk with 15% hatched tornado risk, 30% wind risk, 30% hatched hail risk. There's our tornado graphic. So we have a tornado watch over here in the 5 and 2%, and then 2 up here in the 15%. And we just had one issued in this area where my mouse is circling in the 5 and 10%. Let me take a look at our live chat. Sawyer Spiral says, Northeast Kansas is also another area that I'm concerned about. Yeah, there's that cell near Abilene moving northeast, and it is pretty discreet. It's got the sky to itself, unlike in Minnesota and Iowa, where those storms are really put together in a mini QLCS, sort of. There's that one storm Sawyer Spiral is talking about. It's just that storm and a couple other showers, and then they've got the sky all to themselves. Still waiting on that new tornado watch to pull up. Radar Omega is at least 5 minutes behind at this point, but watches are a pretty big thing to load. So once again, a tornado warning remains in effect. This is still an observed tornado for another 45 minutes. Ongoing tornado. This is a new one. Tornado near Winnebago, Mapleton, Delavan, Amboy. So you need to seek shelter in this area on the... This is in southern Minnesota. And then radar indicated one near Princeton, but I'm mainly concerned about this one, Let's check some storm chaser feeds. Weather spotters have confirmed this tornado funnel cloud. Not sure if it's on the ground at this point. Oh. We just had some ground circulation. Okay, he lost signal. Shouldn't have his thing pulled up for too long, but it is a good reference. So once again, a tornado potentially on the ground or a funnel near Winnebago, Minnesota. So be sure to seek shelter now. That is near Minnesota Lake. So big hail near Amboy too, so be sure to keep an eye on the skies and seek shelter away from windows. Is this tornado watch here yet? It's still not. We're gonna get it pulled up on the SPC. SPC. Yeah, that sounded weird when I said it. Yeah, I don't know why. But here's that new tornado watch. Until midnight Central Time for southwest into central Iowa, northeast Kansas, northwest Missouri, and far southeast Nebraska. If you are just tuning in, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the stream. It is completely optional but very helpful. And then if you want to go above and beyond and help support me and fund for all of the weather tools, my PayPal is linked in the pinned message. You will be put on the donation board, which you can see in the top left. You'll be there with William, but completely optional, very appreciated. Any amount helps, even $1 or something. We're grateful for it all. I will probably have to end stream very shortly, but we're going to keep an eye on this storm for a little bit longer. Near Mapleton, Amboy, Winnebago, in Minnesota. Yep, tornado is on the ground confirmed. I see it on a chaser's feed. Near Winnebago, Delavan, south of Amboy. You need to get in shelter. That was a terrible circle, but ongoing tornado. That is pretty strong tornado, so you need to be in your safe spot. That is the lowest floor of a sturdy building, basement, away from windows, away from the outside world. A pretty large tornado. It is on its way towards Minnesota Lake. That was a weird arrow. I have no clue what I was doing with that. There. So, gonna keep an eye on this. Large tornado is ongoing. Large tornado on the ground near Winnebago, Minnesota. You need to seek shelter right now. Right now, immediately. I can see on a Storm Chasers feed, which I don't think I'm able to show, but pretty strong tornado just being kicked up. There, you can see it. I'll show that really quickly. There you go. Doesn't really have a cone shape, but you can see the ground circulation 100%. I'll be right back, everybody. Just 1 second. I'm going to put be right back on the screen, and I'll keep the Storm Chaser feed up. So be right back, everybody. Just going to mute really quickly. Sorry about that, everyone. We are back. The tornado's still on the ground, it appears. So, kind of hard to tell because the cell service is not very good in this area. The funnel is not condensed right now, but you can see the ground circulation, oddly enough, right there. Wait for the windshield wipers to go away. Screenshot. Perfect. Please remain in your safe spot. Once again, a tornado is on the ground near Winnebago, Minnesota. You can see that rotation, and this tornado is on its way, moving east, northeast, pretty much east, towards Minnesota Lake. Let's check on our other tornado warnings. Actually, that's our only one. I want to check on our severe thunderstorm warning south of Midland, Texas, with ping pong ball sized hail and 70-mile-per-hour winds. Considerable damage start with that near Midkiff in St. Louis. Isolated, like a discrete cell near Junction City in Abilene, Chapman, Kansas. So that is pretty concerning because that storm is very discrete. It's got the environment to itself. I think this tornado might not be in the tornado warning box right now, the Polygon. Respect the Polygon, though. This is on its way towards Delavan, Easton, and Minnesota Lake, so be sure to seek shelter. Just crossing the road in front of some chasers, you can see those very dark clouds. We'll check storm runner media, but you can tell with the radar that it's in front of chasers. There's Brad Arnold. Let's mute that. Brad Arnold's trying to look at it right now, looks like. This may be just a landspout tornado. Not 100% sure if we have two separate rotations going on right now. But if that was a landspout, that was a really big landspout. Unfortunately, I do have to end off the live stream here, but quickly we're going to do a rundown of all of these warnings. So, severe thunderstorm warning south of Garden City near St. Louis, Texas. Big hail above 70 dBz pixel there. Ping pong ball size hail and 70 mile per hour wind. So, be in your safe spot right now. And then those discrete cells along I-70 near Abilene and Chapman, Junction City, Kansas. And then just that one tornado warning, which is still observed near Mapleton, Minnesota Lake. Tornado was just on the ground near Winnebago and Delavan. So please, everybody, be sure that you are staying safe. I hope to see you all in the next one. Thank you once again to William for the $10 dono. And peace out, everyone.